When Americans face prices at the gas pump, they're now nearing a national average of $5 a gallon. And we probably aren't thinking about Russian President Vladimir Putin at the time, or how brutal his invasion of Ukraine has been, and that it really brought this on. Instead, we may be thinking, how am I going to pay to fill up this car to get to work, while also covering higher gas prices, higher grocery store prices to feed my actual family? Republicans will tell you the answer to high gas prices is more oil drilling. But here's what Democrats like Congressman Sean Casten of Illinois say about all of that.
When the fossil fuel industry and the conservative politicians they bankroll go on television claiming the solution to the pain you are feeling at the pump today is to drill more in the U.S., they are lying to you. They are lying in a cynical attempt to take advantage of a tragic situation to line their own pocketbooks.
They are lying to you, Casten said, because the only way to stabilize energy prices at home while also fighting both climate change and autocrats like Vladimir Putin is to boost production of renewable energy. And now President Biden is taking new steps in that direction, aimed at boosting solar energy in the United States right now. Congressman Casten joins me now. So, Congressman, Americans are really feeling the pain at the pump. Like, I talked to Representative Ro Khanna this morning on the radio, and he said there's $6 gas in his district right now. That is insane, especially in a state like California. So speak to the importance of renewable energy as a good investment, but also an important investment right now because of the reason. It's not like this problem is going to get any better just because we ignore it. So why is this a good investment in terms of renewable energy, and what more can the president do?
Sure. So first, I think it's worth us saying that, like, yes, Americans are feeling the pain at the pump. You know who else is feeling the pain at the pump? Everybody on the planet. Gas prices are up all over the world. This is a global phenomenon. And the way that we fix gas prices for everybody is to use less gasoline. Now, the reason why it's such a good idea to invest in renewable energy, it really shouldn't be that complicated. If you don't burn fossil fuel, you don't have to pay for fossil fuel, right? If you have a solar panel on your roof, you don't spend a lot of time saying, I wonder if the electricity price is too high right now. It doesn't matter, because for you, it's free. If you have an electric vehicle, you don't spend a lot of time saying, I wonder if the gasoline price is today. You don't care because you don't pay for it. Now, what we have to do is make sure that those technologies are widely deployed, are available to everyone in the same way we did when we built out the electric grid in the 30s, when we built out the nuclear fleet, all that other stuff. So we know how to do that. And we've been pushing for that legislatively. And in the meantime, I've been leading an effort to push the White House to use the Defense Production Act to get those tools into Americans' hands, and also to get rid of some of the barriers that have been created by Department of Commerce recently that are slowing the deployment of solar in this country. And I'm delighted to see the president using executive action to move on that. We need to do more in the legislative branch as well, but I'm delighted to see him following up.
Unpack the solar energy piece for us and speak to some of the specific ideas the president is putting forward in the move to boost solar energy in the United States. Why is that so important?
Well, look, we can talk, number one, about the climate issues. The planet is burning up. We know that sea levels in Florida are going to be 2 feet higher by 2050. That's a problem. We need to move proactively to do it. So from an environmental perspective, we have to deploy zero carbon technologies yesterday. But even if you deny the science, what would you rather pay for electricity? Whatever you're paying now, or zero? I'll give you a second if that's a hard question for anybody, right? But that's the advantage we get when we build not just solar, but wind, geothermal, energy efficiency in our homes, all of these technologies. We have to spend the money to put them up. But once that money is spent, the electricity is free. Once you insulate your home, you don't have to pay for natural gas anymore. That's great for your pocketbook. It's great for the air we breathe. And it is a completely wonderful way to really stick it to Vladimir Putin.
I like free 99 all the time. Free 99 is my favorite price on any item. Certainly.
You're quicker than some of my colleagues.
Yeah. Free 99 is pretty good. I mean, speak to some of your colleagues, because the reason why there's obstruction on this issue is not, by accident. There are people that are profiting from the status quo who fund the campaigns of the people who are blocking changes to the status quo. I mean, help the viewers at home understand where to place the blame for the lack of action on this issue, because I think often it gets sort of blanketed as like Congress can't do anything, when that's obscures really the central truth here.
Well, so here's the challenge if we're sort of honest about this. I mean, I think we think about this through a partisan lens, but I think it's better understood that there are countries, the United Kingdom generates twice as many dollars of economic activity per unit of energy as the United States does. Switzerland generates 3 times as much. The primary difference is because those countries don't subsidize their fossil fuel production. The United States, we currently subsidize our fossil fuel production by $650 billion with a B dollars a year. I introduced legislation with Don McEachin to repeal the tax subsidies, just the $6 billion of those that are in tax subsidies, and give every American a $500 check. That would make us all richer. It would be wonderful for free market capitalism if you're into those things, because why are we subsidizing these losing industries? The challenge and the reason why that's hard is because if you think about what our country would be like if we were using 1/3 as much energy, number one, we'd all be richer. Number two, the air would be much cleaner. But we would see a massive wealth transfer from energy producers to energy consumers. And when you think about, there are regions of the country, like on the Gulf Coast, like in West Virginia, where their economies are inextricably tied to the extraction of resources from under the ground. And part of the reason why we really pushed in what was called the Build Back Better, the climate provisions, we had significant resources there to try to take all of this wealth that we create with clean energy and make sure that the consumers benefit, but that some portion of that goes back to help out these communities that are going to be left behind. Because the private sector is going to make that transition anyway. The coal industry, talk to a coal miner, they know that their industry has utterly collapsed. There's a reason why the West Virginia economy is, as a friend of mine from West Virginia is fond of saying, thank God for Mississippi, or else we'd be number one. Their economy is in the hole because they have failed to create jobs, as the private industry has said. You know how we like to get labor out of our balance sheet? We've done that. You know how we like to get other costs out of our balance sheet, like energy? We're going to do that as well and move away from coal. So the private sector is moving away, and we have an obligation as legislators to look after those communities, even as we make sure that people have access to cleaner energy. And tragically, some of the biggest opponents to that in Congress are people who represent those communities.
It's a really, really important point, Congressman Sean Casten of Illinois. Thank you so much for being here. As always, climate is such an important issue, and I never, ever want to let a day go by or a week go by without really addressing it. Please stay safe. Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.